Even in her late 80s, Jane Fonda continues to live with a sense of purpose that feels rare in any generation. While many expect a quiet retirement at that stage of life, she has chosen something very different, remaining visible, active, and engaged with the world around her. Whether she is speaking about health, the environment, or simply aging with honesty, her presence carries weight. What makes her journey compelling is not just longevity, but evolution. She has moved through different identities, actress, activist, fitness icon, and public thinker, without allowing any one of them to define her completely. Her story is not about staying the same, but about adapting while holding on to core values. That willingness to change has allowed her to remain relevant across decades. At an age when most people look back, she continues to look forward, reminding others that growth and contribution do not have an expiration date. A childhood behind the spotlight. Jane Fonda was born into a world that appeared glamorous from the outside, yet felt emotionally distant within. Her father, Henry Fonda, was already building a strong reputation in Hollywood, while her mother, Frances Ford Seymour, came from a socially prominent background. Despite the privilege surrounding her early life, warmth and emotional security were often missing. Her father's career kept him away for long stretches, and when present, he remained reserved and difficult to connect with. Her mother struggled deeply with her own challenges, creating an atmosphere that was unpredictable and confusing for a young child. Jane grew up learning how to present a composed image to the outside world while quietly navigating her own emotions. That contrast between appearance and reality shaped her understanding of people and relationships. It also planted the seeds for the introspection that would later define both her performances and her personal growth. Learning to carry silence. One of the defining aspects of Jane Fonda's early life was the absence of open emotional expression. Conversations about feelings were rare, and vulnerability was often replaced with composure. As a result, she developed a habit of internalizing experiences rather than sharing them. This quiet endurance shaped her personality in lasting ways. She became observant, perceptive, and deeply reflective, but also carried a sense of isolation. Over time, she began to understand how much those early patterns influenced her choices, relationships, and even her sense of self-worth. Instead of allowing that past to define her permanently, she chose to confront it later in life. Through reflection, writing, and conversation, she gradually transformed those early experiences into sources of strength. This process did not happen overnight. It took decades of self-examination, but it allowed her to move from simply carrying silence to understanding it, and eventually to speaking openly about it in ways that resonated with millions. Finding a voice through acting. Although she did not initially set out to become an actress, Jane Fonda eventually found in acting a powerful way to express what she had long kept inside. Her early work introduced her to Hollywood, but it was her deeper, more emotionally complex roles that truly defined her. Films like Clute marked a turning point, showcasing her ability to portray characters with depth, vulnerability, and strength. Her performances were not simply technical. They felt lived in, as though she was drawing from real emotional experiences. Audiences responded to that authenticity. Acting became more than a profession. It became a form of communication. Through her roles, she explored themes of identity, resilience, and human complexity. Over time, she earned recognition not just as a star, but as a serious artist. That shift allowed her to move beyond surface-level fame and establish a lasting presence in the film industry. Reinvention in the fitness world. In the 1980s, Jane Fonda introduced something entirely unexpected, a fitness movement that would reach millions. With the release of Jane Fonda's workout, she helped make exercise more accessible, especially for women. What began as a personal interest grew into a cultural phenomenon. Her approach was simple yet effective, encouraging people to stay active in ways that felt achievable. The impact extended beyond physical health. It changed how many women viewed their bodies, their strength, and their ability to take control of their well-being. Fonda's fitness work was not about perfection, it was about participation. She emphasized consistency over intensity, making it approachable for a wide audience. This phase of her career demonstrated her ability to connect with people in a completely different way. It also reinforced her role as someone who could influence culture beyond the boundaries of film. Stepping away to reflect. At the height of her success, Jane Fonda made another unexpected decision. She stepped away from acting for an extended period. This break allowed her to focus on her personal life and reassess her priorities. It was a time of reflection, growth, and recalibration. In an industry that often rewards constant visibility, choosing to step back required confidence. She used that time to explore different aspects of her identity, away from the spotlight. When she eventually returned, she brought with her a renewed sense of purpose. Her performances carried a different depth, shaped by the experiences she had gained during her time away. This period serves as a reminder that stepping back is not always a setback. Sometimes it is a necessary part of moving forward with clarity and intention. A remarkable comeback. Jane Fonda's return to acting proved that reinvention has no age limit. Projects like Monster-in-Law reintroduced her to a new generation of audiences. Her performance combined humor, timing, and confidence, reminding viewers of her versatility. This comeback was not about reclaiming past glory, it was about embracing the present. She approached her roles with a sense of freedom, unburdened by earlier expectations. This phase of her career demonstrated that experience can enhance creativity rather than limit it. By stepping back into the spotlight on her own terms, she showed that it is possible to redefine success at any stage of life. Her return was not just welcomed, it was celebrated. Embracing later chapters with grace. In her later years, Jane Fonda continued to take on meaningful and engaging work. The series Grace and Frankie became a standout example, exploring themes of friendship, aging, and reinvention with humor and honesty. The show resonated with audiences because it addressed topics often overlooked in mainstream entertainment. Fonda's performance brought depth and wit, proving that storytelling does not lose its power with age. Instead, it gains perspective. Through this work, she helped shift conversations around aging, showing that later stages of life can be vibrant, complex, and fulfilling. Her ability to connect with audiences across generations remains one of her greatest strengths. Facing health challenges openly. In recent years, Jane Fonda has spoken openly about her health, including her experience with non-Hodgkin lymphoma. Rather than retreating from public life, she chose to share her journey with honesty and clarity. Her openness provided comfort and encouragement to many facing similar challenges. She emphasized the importance of access to healthcare and the value of community support. By continuing her work and advocacy during this time, she demonstrated resilience and determination. Her approach was neither dramatic nor dismissive. It was grounded and real. This honesty strengthened her connection with the public, reinforcing her role as someone who speaks not just from experience, but with empathy. Redefining beauty and aging. Jane Fonda has also played a significant role in changing how society views aging. Moments like her appearance at major public events with natural silver hair sparked conversations around authenticity and self-acceptance. She openly rejected the pressure to appear younger, choosing instead to embrace her age with confidence. This decision resonated widely, Gansakut Rebit, among women who had long felt the need to hide signs of aging. Fonda's message was clear. Aging is not something to conceal, but something to live fully. By aligning her public image with this belief, she turned a personal choice into a cultural statement. Her influence extends beyond fashion or appearance. It touches on identity, confidence, and self-worth. A legacy still in motion. What makes Jane Fonda's story remarkable is not just what she has achieved, but how she continues to evolve. She has never allowed herself to be defined by a single chapter. Instead, she moves forward, guided by curiosity, reflection, and purpose. Her legacy is not fixed, it is ongoing. Through her work, her advocacy, and her willingness to speak honestly, she has created a lasting impact that goes beyond entertainment. She reminds us that life is not about reaching a final version of ourselves, but about continuing to grow. Even now, her journey feels unfinished in the best possible way.